Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion, and I am Peter over there rolling around on the beach full of sand. It's watch party. How you doing, sir?
Hey, 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 I'm making sand angels.
Sand Angels, I like that.
Yes.
I'd like to see if Chosen and Sensei Kim did any Sand Angels out there. Perhaps at least Sensei
Mhm.
Kim did. I don't know about Chosen. He's came out there pretty clean, unscathed, really. But how are you, sir?
Yeah, he doesn't get sand in his. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Happy to be
Uh,
here.
Yes, yes, we're finally here with the third episode. So that's, number eight for part six, season six, rather. Well over 2 weeks left
Mhm.
until the final five comes out. We do have an official confirmation for the worldwide, is that worldwide? The finale, help me out with the word here. See, the premiere of the finale is on the 12th. So that
The
is
f- the
official.
fin the finale event, right?
Yeah, yeah, the final event with the I I
Yeah,
think they're probably
this is the thing they're doing in Los Angeles. You're referring to, right?
this is correct at the
Yeah.
Egyptian theater.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's new to me. I'm not familiar with the Egyptian theater, but it's in LA, so it's on the 12th. And
You
the
think it's
red
a
car
big pyramid? This theater, like it's in a big
a,
pyramid.
s- a Sphinx, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
Whoa.
with a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of mummies and who knows.
Yeah.
Um, but the red carpet event will kick off at 5 o'clock. It starts at 5:30, and the screening will be at 7. They don't say exactly what they'll be playing, but I'm assuming the first episode, per usual. I believe they usually play the first, sometimes two. I think season five was the first two, but that was also the entire season. So with this,
Right.
only drop of 5 episodes, I'm assuming just the one. That's
Mhm.
it doesn't specify on here. So. It's been a few days since they put out this announcement, but if you go on Netflix.com to them, you should be able to find it there. So while supplies last, so it is
Mhm.
the final one. So for those that be interested in going, I know some of our friends, including Mike, who's is going to be in attendance as well. So happy for him
Mhm.
to be able to participate in that. Let's see here. A couple other cons coming up. An announcement that came out for later in the year in October, so we still got plenty of months. But Martin Cove will be at. Oh gosh, I had it with me. What was it? I know it's not Nashville. Nashville's a lot sooner. Speaking of Nashville, the Nashville one is coming up March 1st to 2nd, which is weird. That's only 2 days. We have Patrick Lewis. As far as I know, this will be his first con. At least
Mhm.
this is the first one that has been announced. I don't know if he's going to be announced with anybody else sooner because we have one literally around the corner in Orlando called the MegaCon. Now, this one, I would say will have Steel City running for its money because they have a very good turnout with this one with like Paul Walter Hauser, Brandon H. Lee is going to be there. So that's going to be his
Ooh,
first con. Obviously who plays Quan. UG is going to
Paul
be
Walter
there.
Hauser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
My
exactly.
fiance likes him.
Stingray.
Yeah.
Before he was Stingray, she liked him before he had a cool name.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She even liked the before, you know.
She wanted a spinoff already
I
before I
know.
believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Just real quick about MegaCon, and I'll have you bring that up. For those that are fans of the '80s, we got a lot of people from the Breakfast Club will also be there. Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson. So MegaCon's going to have a really nice turnout for that one. So if you can make it, Elizabeth Shue, I think I named. Yeah, that's going to be a good turnout there. But yeah,
Getting the
watch party.
gang back together or the pack.
Yes, the
Yeah.
pack. Yeah. The what do we call it? You and fiance party. You guys have been doing a binge,
Yeah.
breaking it up in several
Mhm.
episodes. Can you share how that's been going so far?
Actually, really good. She's never seen the show. Um, she had seen probably like she had seen the first movie, but really remembered almost nothing of it. Like when she was 12 or something. So we did watch the movies first. I kind of almost regretted not streaming those as well. Like to me, it was just like the warm up, but she had some good reactions. But um, she was really enjoying the show. It's. I mean, I'll say it on the stream, but like it's I've never actually watched the show with someone else for the first time. Um, which is kind of weird, because I've done all this, but every time when I watched the show, I was by myself. Um, and at some point, I was with my parents for a little, like in season 3 or something. But for the most part, like they had watched it by themselves, for the first time. So, but this is really the first time I've actually been able to just sit with someone who's now watching it for the first time and kind of getting to see that. And it's just a lot of fun. Needless to say, she loves it. She shares many of the same opinions I have. Um, she's a little dismayed at how toxic Sam is here at this
Oh.
early part of the show. She actually after the stream, she almost apologized. She's like, "I'm sorry. I'll try not to say so many bad things about Sam. I just don't like her." No, it's fine. Um,
Hey, have you bookmarked a few of your own videos to share with her
yeah,
after?
yeah. I mean, I certainly could, and I actually considered sending her some of them when we finished season 2, but then I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe I should let her just experience it before she gets like my take on it
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't also want my takes to influence her takes,
that's
going down the
fair.
line even. So
Right, right,
so
right.
I yeah, I thought about it, but I'm gonna hold off. But I'm really enjoying it, and she is too.
Yeah.
As
When
to
I'm
be expected. Yeah.
when I've been able to pop in, I've been really enjoying it. And Inside Baseball, we took forever to get to this review finally because everybody was taking turns getting sick. If you guys
Yeah.
can hear it, like I'm still sick, and I'm doing much better now. But I was pretty much out of commission for like 3 days, and luckily for me, it started like at the beginning of a long weekend for me, and the evening you guys were finishing up season 2. I
Mhm.
had my earbuds in and I was getting comfortable there on the couch. And I'm like, all right, hopefully I don't doze off, but I dozed off, I think prior to 209. And so I want to go
Mhm.
back and try to get some of her reactions, from the double date to the school fight, to Miguel falling.
Mhm.
I want to catch all of that stuff. So, really been enjoying it. You guys, if you're doing your own rewatches, hey, why not queue up one of these binges? And there's a timestamp for each and one of them, so that way
Yeah.
you can tune in and hear some live reactions as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, I really enjoy that. I'm glad yeah, it hasn't gotten awkward after she said I do, and now you guys are watching a show together, where you might have to draw some lines through some rivalries and such. So
No, yeah,
we're
it's great because like it's almost amazing that we're so in line. Like one of her favorite characters, Johnny. He's one of my favorite characters. I mean, I like Hawk too, but of course now we're at the part of the show where Hawk is in his real bad phase or something. Of
right.
course, so she's like, "How do you like him?"
Oh yeah, she was not too
Yeah.
happy about I believe it was in 207 the fight between Hawk and Miguel, and he flashes the Medal of Honor. I
Oh,
think
right.
she,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
was still unhappy about that. So
She
I like that.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been having a lot of fun listening to that. Um anything else you could think of in terms of house cleaning that we can throw out a have a recorded interview that I can't wait to drop. And
I mean, other than that, the trailers should be we're hoping soon, and other promo as we get into part
poster,
3.
some video
Yeah,
clips,
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, like the Twitter X account or whatever is posting these weird character recap thingies. Today they
yeah,
did Kyler, like it's a thing. They're probably going to do one a day till release. Okay, I get it. Fine. Like it means nothing to me, but there's something out there. There's content out there.
yes, yeah, they are releasing content. It's kind of like the best lines from some of these
Right.
characters.
Hmm.
Johnny, Ronnie, no, not Gianni, Dimitri, and
Hmm.
Kyler so far, I believe. Yeah, so posters probably. If you guys remember when the second drop came. There wasn't very much content at all, and so I'm sure they were saving, footage from people like a Zara and like an Axel perhaps. So we'll see. The
Mhm.
Sekai Tekai isn't over, and there's a very good chance we can get some of that stuff as well. So I think we can end it there. We'll get into Amy's synopsis here for episode 8 of season 6. Snakes on a plane and a jackass in first class. That's the amended. That's the
the,
amended title.
the subtitle, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and this is directed by Jen Salata, a veteran director. We
From
got
since
her
season one, right? She's
since
been
season
here.
one, Escaleto. Yep,
Yeah.
that was
Hmm.
her first episode. Still one of my favorites, and this one as well. I'm gonna show my hand a little bit, but one of my favorite episodes. Is a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Let's see, and the writers we have co-writers Ashley Darnell and Emily Abbott, whom I interviewed both not too long ago. So go back and check out that. It was a lot of fun. Some nuggets there for sure.
Hmm.
All right. So Amy says there are a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications and more misunderstandings. We're 3 episodes in, and nobody is really having that much fun on this trip. Johnny and Miguel are heading back to California, and they aren't even seated before Johnny makes a new enemy in the form of a rich nuisance who thinks he's better than everyone else. Miguel just wants to keep his cool, but this is Johnny. They're both anxious, and Miguel just needs him to shut up and be normal. When that doesn't happen, the flight attendant moves Miguel up to first class, leaving Johnny behind with nothing but an emotional support dog named Pickles. Johnny eventually does get Miguel to stop icing him out and puts everything out there. He is his son, and he loves him and Carmen, and right now he's terrified. Amanda, at Johnny's request, is on a mission to get Kenny on a flight to Barcelona. It's a tough sales pitch because she not only learns that Kenny still believes Anthony dosed him, uh, but that there are memes, so many memes. Her attempt at getting the boys to talk is a failure, and Anthony storms off. But for her, her own one-on-one with Kenny works. Anthony, however, didn't bail because he was mad. He left to buy laxatives so that he can make them even. He chugs the entire bottle before Kenny can tell him that Devin has come clean about being the person who spiked his water bottle. Rough night for Anthony. Daniel wishes that there was something that they could do to help Johnny. He's also feels certain that Kreese is the person who had him kidnapped. Chosen is the voice of reason here and tells Daniel to get a good night of sleep and he'll take charge. Daniel's only request, the kids stay in. Chosen, who has sent them out for a night on the town, assures him they will and heads out to track them all down. Kim is doing the same for her students and the two fight their way around Barcelona. They fail to find the kids, but they go full quote unquote enemies to lovers and hook up on the beach. Their good times are short lived, though. At breakfast, they see the long haired man with the Cobra Kai tattoo that Daniel described and follow him. The kids all have their own twists and turns through the night. Hawk and Dimitri are still bickering. Tori and Robbie are still sad, and Quan is still stirring the pot. Reina, Zara, on the other hand, is threatened by Tori's newfound fame with the half the guys in the bar, and when she can't intimidate her directly, she sets her sights on Robbie. It's heavily implied that they hook up, but this is the episode of convenient misunderstandings. Best case, Robbie passed out and Zara is playing games. Worst case, Zara needs to attend a seminar on consent. Meanwhile, Sam finds herself hanging out with Axel, and once he lets his guard down, they share a connection. Sam thinks they're just having a normal conversation, but Axel is imprinting on her like a baby duck. They find themselves in a brief street fight with Quan and his gang, but it's over before it's really gets started, and a police siren causes them all to scatter. Adrenaline and misread signals make Axel think that kissing Sam is a good idea. When she stops him, he runs away embarrassed. Back in Reseda, Johnny and Miguel see way too much blood on an empty bed, and when they get zero answers from the orderly cleaning up, jump to the absolute worst conclusion. But their grief is interrupted when Carmen is rolled back into the room. She's fine. She had surgery and she's going to be okay, and she wants them both to go back to Barcelona. Daniel's credit card company is going to have so many questions for him this month. Speaking of Daniel, he and Kreese have both been summoned to the hotel where Kim and Chosen have tracked Dennis. He's down a ridiculously long hallway talking to Sensei Wolf. Daniel's confusion over why Wolf would have kidnapped him is cut short because there is Terry Silver in a hot tub, of course, and all the pieces fall into place. Thank you, Amy, for that. Very
Thank
thorough in
you.
that one. Um,
Right.
so yeah, let's just start off with kind of initial thoughts. What did you think about Snakes on a Plane?
Well, I'll tell you, and I think you even saw it when I did my regional live stream. Because in the previous episode we got Dennis, and then I turned looked at the title, Snakes on a Plane, like, oh, are we getting Snake? No, we don't.
No
I
snake.
don't know. What was that?
Oh, no, no, we don't. No, we don't get
Yeah,
snake.
no, we don't. We don't. And so I don't know. It's kind of like I get the title, I guess, ultimately just is referring to, you know, Johnny and Miguel's story, but like I'm kind of interested why they went with that. And to me, it just like I can't help but think Snake.
Right. That's a good
Even
point.
though
Like,
it's yeah. Or go
yeah,
ahead.
well, I was just gonna say that, yeah, we kind of already knew that the references to Johnny and Miguel being on the plane, but they're former snakes, they're former cobras, right? So
Mhm.
they're Miyagi-Do now. Little misleading in that one. Because I knew it was gonna be like a crate full of snakes that, accidentally get busted open or something, and now they're all over the place. But yeah, that would have been interesting. Maybe even a Samuel Jackson, cameo.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
That would have been a good one. What'd you think about some of the things that go on with the kids?
Um, I think I guess it's a fun adventure of hijinks. I mean, this definitely is meant to be like the more fun episode, I think, kind of coming in the middle between the intense tournament of the first two and last two. So, it's I think it's at least meant to be a little bit more lighthearted, even though like maybe Dimitri doesn't make some very good decisions. Robbie doesn't make some very good decisions. And Zara's doing her whatever the hell, like to get back at Tori, and and then Tori and Robbie. So there's like a lot of shit. Like if you enjoy kind of that little bit of drama, which I think a lot of people do, it's definitely a fun episode for that.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I think that's why I like it because of all the drama,
Mhm. Mhm.
all the bullshit, really. And
Yeah.
even some with the adults. Just love the stuff with like Chosen and Sensei Kim, and we'll definitely get there.
Out of the kids who are out, like who doesn't really do anything bad? I mean, you could say Tori, although she kind of was getting roped along with Quan, but she was like shutting him down, but it ended up hurting Robbie because he was getting the wrong impression anyway.
Right,
I guess Hawk, um, like he was like trying to have fun, but then he wasn't having as much fun. Uh,
right. Yeah, Dimitri abandoned him at one point, and he was
yeah.
just stuck left at the a table there. I
Yeah.
guess I'm not. At one point, Devin was with them, like sitting on another booth, like at another booth behind them, and so like at some
Right.
point
Then she
she
like took
leaves
off, I
him.
guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I guess we'll get
Uh,
into it. Yeah.
yeah, we'll get into it then. So we open up on Rosa, aka Yaya, and Amanda in the waiting room of the hospital. You can feel the heaviness just based off of all of their looks here. Amanda gets a call from Johnny,
Mhm.
and she gives him an update with him and Miguel flying back. They're going to be down one fighter, so he asked her to reach out to Kenny to take Miguel's place.
Mhm.
And if Devin hadn't come clean to join the previous episode, do you think that it still would have been Kenny? We think this is him trying to correct that?
Um, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
in the end, even if you go off of Mike Barnes's eliminations, Kenny was the only other one in the race who's not there now, because Hawk
Right,
also lost, but Hawk was put on after Tori left. So
right. And I think if we remember back to like Barnes's observations, like Kenny was getting a lot of like brownie points, and well, I don't want to call him brownie points because in Barnes's eyes, like Kenny was like standing out. He was doing things to stand
yeah, it
out.
was genuine, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think, Amanda will say as much later on too. So
Mhm.
After the call, Johnny tells him Carmen is fine, downplaying the severity. Here is where we also meet Stu, Mr. First Class Jackass, taking his sweet ass time storing away his luggage. What are your thoughts on Stu?
Um, what did I write here? Okay. If there's one thing this show excels at, it is writing assholes. Dear
Yes.
God, every asshole or bitch in this show is perfection.
Yeah, all of a sudden
So,
I'm
yeah.
thinking about like Spaceballs and all the assholes and major assholes.
Yeah, right. I actually mentioned it, I think, to my fiance too. But
Uh,
yeah, boy, if you ever have a need for just like a guy to be an antagonist that you hate, is kind of like the asshole. God, that guy, like, boy, they really nail it. He pretty much hits every mark.
yeah. Yeah, from calling the stewardess like a sweetheart. He put his
Yeah.
hands on Johnny at one point too. Miguel had to,
Mhm.
tell him to stay calm. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the worst. He even calls her babe. Explains what neat is, means no ice. You know. But I know this wouldn't cause any attention. But also he could have given his drink, or he could have gotten his drink like when he was seated. Um,
Yeah,
so
exactly. Exactly. Like,
did
so you imagine like he was being a prick beforehand and wanting it
yeah,
immediately, you know?
right, right. We cut to Chosen at the hotel, and it looks like Daniel's just getting out of the shower. Now, how come he isn't walking out flexing those abs of his? Like we saw Robbie.
He's got nothing else to show off, man. Done
He
it.
said it, not
He's
me.
done
Okay,
it.
we're being
Yeah.
honest. He's got nothing to show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robbie, Johnny, they are but Daniel's confident in himself, you know?
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need the extra attention.
For sure. We learned they're aware of the situation with Johnny, and they also talk about Daniel being kidnapped and Kreese being behind it. Chosen asks, how would Kreese know that Daniel was searching for answers about Miyagi? And he mentions Sensei Kim being present when he was telling Gunther about the headband. Also tells him about the long-haired brute, who we will find out later is Dennis. Um, in another hotel room not so far away, we have the two Cobra Kai senseis with Quan. Kreese pretty much instructs Quan to go out and mess with the other students here. Um, I want to point out that Sensei Kim, she waits for Quan to leave the room before she tells Kreese she disapproves and says that they
Mm-hmm.
should be training. Maybe this is a, kind of a conscious decision to not have a disagreement in front of the student, right? Where Miyagi-Do, they kind of did that in the beginning of the sixth episode, right? Where they're getting off of out of the taxi or the bus,
Well, true.
and
Yeah.
they wait. But for the most part, a lot of the fighting, usually it's the senseiing, that's in front of all the kids. Um, so it's something I
Mm.
picked up there. Now, Sensei Kim, she says she will not have her grandfather's students risking the shame of disqualification for petty fights off the mat. Um, so it does appear there are some rules or at least some guidelines and etiquette on their off time here. We're going to
Yeah.
learn that the Irish team Dublin Thunder are always looking for a fight and apparently got one into one on the beach. Um, I like the cut to Chosen, basically saying the opposite of Reese was to Kim about Daniel. Now, Reese told Kim about how her grandfather told and that battles are not just meant for the battlefield. And Choden's here saying to like show restraint and to get their revenge on the mat. Um, your thoughts on kind of the two different scenes here, Kreese and Kim, and then Chosen and Daniel.
Um, let's see. I'm looking here. It's because I was thinking like Daniel's logic is pretty straightforward. Back
Yeah.
into to him suspecting Kreese on everything.
Yes.
Um, well, the only thing is, because he's talking about Kreese is talking about Quan, rattle the enemy. Um, is Miyagi Do the biggest threat to them? That was kind of like the one thing I was thinking is it's like at this point Miyagi Do is way down in the rankings. Cobra Kai is second or third behind Iron Dragons, maybe. Like, why would they be focusing on Miyagi Do? Like, um, It's
Probably
like, is he
because
just obsessed with them?
yes, yes, 100%. I think just because the rivalry just goes so far back, you know?
But then the students aren't. So like you would think Quan would even just take that and think, well, they're not our threat. These other guys are our threat.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it could be that thing where the sees a lot in Quan, he kind of unlocked him, so to speak, in
Mhm.
that third episode, and so now he just falls in line. Whatever Sensei Kree says, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you're right, that's a good point. Like, well, what does Quan have in this, against
Yeah.
Miyagi-Do? Um,
Right.
as of right now, it's just like, ooh, the famous
Mhm.
Miyagi-Do,
You're right.
he's heard so much about, so that's really it. Everything is just
Yeah.
like, well, he hasn't really had any experience except for like a few um encounters like
Yeah.
during episode 6.
And of which they at least beat Miyagi-Do. So
They
who
did.
knows?
They did. Yeah,
So
it's the Mohawk. He hates it.
yeah, I guess, yeah, there you go. There you
A
go.
big target.
I
Chosen,
do
yeah,
I do prefer, well, as I say, I do prefer Kim, like focus on the tournament. Like I think, if Sensei style, I'm more in line with her. So there you go.
yeah, yeah. I like her too. Th
Yeah.
this is definitely one of my favorite episodes for Sensei Kim.
Hmm.
Chosen apologizing for his behavior lately and tells Daniel it's his turn to rest. And Daniel says that if they're going into defense mode, that the kids should stay in tonight. And we get a hilarious flashback to Hawk asking permission
Yeah.
to go out to which Chosen replied, as long as they hit the town hard.
Hmm.
I really like that moment. It's funny, like it serves its purpose. Because I was thinking like, oh, why couldn't if we had a much longer sequence? Because we don't get enough interactions with like Chosen and any of the other students. But just the fact that they still somebody came to ask for permission, I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see this.
Hmm.
Love the way Chosen exits because his face immediately changes as if he knew he fucked up. And we go to what we will learn is Teo's Tapas Bar. Many of the fighters are there, including all of Miyagi-Do. Haka and Dimitri are sitting together. Sammy and Robbie are sitting together. And for reasons, Devin is sitting at a table with a couple of randos. Did you catch that at all?
Um, I didn't, but I did know, like, I remember thinking, like, since Miguel is gone, um, they would, like, how are they going to break up?
Group,
Yeah, Devin is, it's kind of weird, actually. I'm
right?
looking at it.
She's
Yeah.
sitting at a table with like two other guys who are like having drinks. I think they're fighters too, but like extra fighters, not like
Well, she's
eh,
trying to get to know people, I guess.
that could be it. That could because I was like, well, they could have easily had her sit with Hawk and Dimitri, I feel.
Right.
Like, yeah, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's like a real bar. You would find yourself sitting with people that you just met for the night. You guys are out into town having a good time.
Right. Right.
Um,
So,
let's see. Hawk shares the news about Kenny replacing Miguel, and Dimitri has thoughts as he usually does. Uh, Robbie asks Sam if she spoke with Miguel, and she says only for like 30 seconds. And she goes on about how they have plans to go sightseeing and check in with Robbie. And he's thinking about adding rum to his cook. That's all that's on his mind right now. Just
yeah.
drinking, I guess. He talks about how he hasn't been performing well ever since Tori put them on a break, and goes on about how she seems unaffected and fighting even better. Yes, because
Yes, because
that
she's
was
not
her point.
mulling over her
Yeah.
relationship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's what she
Yeah.
said. Like let's just focus
Yeah.
on ourselves and excuse me in karate. Um, what is your read on Sam at this point? Because Tori's about to walk in with some of like her teammates, and Sam leaves. Like the delivery of what does she say? Like, oh, and I feel terrible, and so that didn't really Mary didn't really sell that, so I don't know I if Sam really felt terrible or she's just kind of like quote unquote over it in this moment.
Well, I mean, I think she's just saying, she wants to check her boxes. Oh, I feel bad for what she's going through,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to dwell on it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, fair. Robbie and Tori exchange looks. She's clearly surprised to see him there. I feel a little bad for Robbie because none of his teammates are really there for him right now. But I do love how Quan toys with Robbie here. This is the thing where Robbie looks over and Quan leans into like Tori's ear, basically. Kind of like the
Right.
thing that Johnny does in the first Karate Kid movie to Allie, when not Ralph, Daniel is looking over. Do you feel for bad for Zara? This might be like the first time in a while, where she's not the center of attention, right? Like we've learned that
No,
Iron
I don't
Dragons,
feel bad for her because she's not the center of attention. Yeah, people are like talking about Tori. Hey, there she is, the Tooth Fairy.
right? Yeah.
Um, that
No
doesn't. I
entourage.
don't feel bad for Sarah. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Do you think she's a loner?
um, no. No, I would think she normally has a posse with her.
Uh-huh.
Like a group of girls, even if she's like like Yasmin. She's like kind of like the Yasmin of the Sekai Taikai. And but
Okay.
like she would normally have some girls with her, but because it's like the tournament, and it's just the dojo there. She doesn't have her posse, so maybe like she would normally have like a group of girls with her, as and then she's the queen bee of them. But like so she's kind of like yeah, she's kind of striking out on her own now, but yeah, I don't but then so she's just hanging at this bar, like, yeah, not the center of attention, but like, well, it doesn't feel bad for her, but it does maybe put her in a unique place.
Yeah. Yeah. We cut to Amanda showing up at the Payne's doorstep, and I love how Kenny wants no part of this. At one point he's like looking around, looking outside, like behind her, Amanda, to see if he's being punked or something.
Right.
Um, and this is also where she learns about Anthony bullying him. Hashtag
Mhm.
shitbutt, and we're gonna see some memes here later on. We briefly check back in with Johnny Miguel on the plane. Johnny asks the stewardess about the bendy thing on the map, and asks her to tell the pilot to fly straight. Now, it kind of came up in the interview, but I forgot to have them. I mean, I don't know if there's any elaborating needed, but basically they're saying that Johnny's a flat earther.
Um, well, what they're saying is so there's a lot of discussions about the timeline of this episode.
Mm,
When they get there, they get back in like one day or something from Barcelona to LA. And I think the reason it actually works is because the pilot takes Johnny's advice and does fly straight. So it
mm,
actually takes several hours off the flight in both directions.
who would have
So
knew?
so that's how the timeline works. Johnny basically saved everyone.
And also by flying straight, that allowed Evan to place a call to Kenny in real time. And okay, well, I
Yeah.
guess maybe we'll get there. I'm going
Yeah.
cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Um, Miguel unloads on Johnny, telling him how he's been feeling about the tournament and says he'll probably make things worse at the tournament too. Brings up
Mm.
how he was drinking in the parking lot when Robbie was born, to which Johnny takes exception, says to not bring Robbie into this, that he won the captain spot fair and square, and it's not his fault. Miguel choked. And at this point, Miguel moves to first class because this gentleman is bothering him. I believe what was the kind of the dialogue there. Um, we cut to Chosen outside of a club. He tries to go to the front, asks the bouncer to get inside, that he's looking for some teenagers. And this is when Sensei Kim comes walking out. And I love how Chosen like questions the bouncer. It's like, you let her in? Like, well, she's hot. Duh. And I just it felt so real. Like, why need to sugarcoat it, right? It's just yeah, she's a good looking girl.
Lindsay like
You're
looked
not.
down. Well, what is this?
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember like your initial reaction to kind of like this sequence? Like Chosen's trying to get in, then all of a sudden like Kim comes from walking
She
in.
comes up. Like,
Yeah.
I guess like I don't know if like precisely my initial reaction, but I do remember like immediately picking up like, okay, they're both looking for their students, like in getting, in getting the storyline, right? Like, so now it kind of clicks into place on what our story is here, Johnny or Johnny, um, Chosen and Sensei Kim looking for the students, constantly bumping into each other, and you know, hijinks
Yeah.
ensue, I guess.
Yeah, just earlier in the episode, Daniel was telling Chosen like, "Oh, well, his, referring to Kreese, like, well, his partner was there, so she's got to know about this stuff,
Mhm.
about my kidnapping, right? So now this is Chosen's first encounter with her after hearing all of that. So now he's like kind of questioning, oh, you're looking to make more trouble for Miyagi-Do.
Right.
Ooh.
Sorry.
No, no, it's all right. Let's see. They're both asked to leave and try the beach district. And we cut back to Tori, who's at
Right.
the bar getting a drink. Zara tries to pick up the drink, and she's being sponsored, so has the money to do so. And do you think she's kind of getting on Tori's nerves at this point, if not already?
I don't know, like if you think maybe they've had more beefs, like I would say maybe she was already on Tori's nerves. I bet most of the girls at the tournament don't like Zara at this point.
Mm,
Because remember, Zara was going around and said to Tori, after the first fight, welcome to Barcelona, bitch. Being kind of a bitch herself, like she won the fight, I get it, but like she had no specific reason to, dislike Tori or have a special grudge against Tori or something. There was nothing like, so I think Zara was sort of antagonistic to all the girls at the tournament.
mm.
And probably even some of the girls have been talking about that. Like if you can imagine that. So yeah, I suspect Tori is not
Not a
liking
fan.
Zara.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We see the Binary brothers are watching Maria dancing, and she comes over to invite them to dance. Hawk declines, but Dimitri is quick to give in. Funny because he says, to think with that head and points to like, his dome rather than the other head. So I thought that was did that surprise you, or were you like, oh, of course Dimitri would go and dance with her?
Well, I mean, it surprised me is that like I didn't expect it coming. Like even earlier in their bar, if you had said like, "Hey, do you think Dimitri would go dance with some girl?" I would have said no. So yeah, I was surprised.
Hmm.
Now when it happened, can I believe it from the character? Yeah, I kind of can. And even, citing what Emily said in your interview with her, she's just like Dimitri, for as far as he's come, he's still like this guy, like he starts getting some attention from a kind of a good looking girl, and he just completely like loses all sense of, rationality and just hops right into it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, See, we see Quan and Robbie see each other from across the room. Quan leans into Tori and pretends to get cozy with her. And seeing this, Robbie asks for a rum and coke and asks to make it a double.
Mm.
Um, so I guess I had it in order maybe because I thought he leans into Tori earlier. Amanda, Anthony are watching the shitbutt video. Anthony tries to say it wasn't his fault, but Amanda demands that he gets in the car so he can go apologize. I thought the scene was, I liked it a lot. It was interesting. And I guess Amanda's still like being, mom, but I thought it was interesting that she doesn't give him a chance to explain, you know. Yeah, what are your thoughts on this here? Well, he tries to say that it wasn't him.
I think like, but like in her mind, with everything that's already going on and he knows what it is, he's laughing at it again. Like that's
Right.
more than enough for her. So
True.
it's like, well, I technically didn't upload it. It's like I don't care at this point. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
We cut back to Johnny on the plane holding the dog, who we learned is named Pickles. Holding Pickles wasn't enough to make him happy. He gets up and walks over to first class and calls for Miguel, puts on his headphone. Real brief there. Well, yeah, Johnny tells the stewardess that he just wants to talk to his kid. and but Miguel doesn't want to talk to him. Sensei Kim
Right.
comes across two drunk bros who try to hit on her. What did you think of the sequence? I thought this was really good. For a lot of the times up to this point, she's been very kind of one note, right? She's just a Bond villain, right? Like even kind of down to the cadence
Mhm.
to which she speaks. And I like
Mhm.
how these two guys, they first kind of like call her ponytail or whatever, and talk about how like, oh yeah, we seen the blonde and the with the Chinese kid. Uh,
Right, right.
but yeah, I like this moment because we acknowledge like these guys are problematic, and I think even if you thought Sensei Kim was bad from like season 5, I feel like you got to feel a little bad for her in this moment as well. But prior to her, kind
After
of
she
taking them
took
both
the
out.
guy down with her foot,
Yeah.
like he kicked his
But it's
ass.
still kind of a nice moment where you're just like, she doesn't deserve that. You know,
I mean, I don't feel as bad as such that she can handle herself. So,
fair. Yeah. Enter Chosen. And
Mhm.
I don't think I'm skipping ahead here, but this is the part where she tells, let me see, Chosen comes and then she tells them, tell me where to find them or I'll break your arm, right? And then Chosen's like, you tell her and I'll break your neck. And so it sounds like you did listen to the interview because I tried asking like, oh, the breaking the neck, is that like, break ice or a broken neck, from Karate Kid 2? Nope, it was just coincidence. So
Just a
yeah,
coincidence.
Chosen likes
Yes,
to
in
threaten
fact,
to
I
break
remember
necks.
you asking that and thinking, "Yeah, Peter, not everything's a direct like callback."
I thought they were, and I'm just so used to the, season 2 and 3 days when we were told everything is deliberate, and now it's just
Yeah.
like, well, not everything now, just some's a coincidence too, but
Sometimes, lines will come out and they'll match another line in some way or,
it
be
will,
similar. And,
yeah.
it's
But if you guys been listening to me since season 1, I'm the same guy who heard Trey and Cruz knocking on the door, sounding like the drums, right? So yeah, I'm always looking for a connection. Sensei Kim. Nope, nope. Yep. Okay. And
Oh my
then let's
God.
see.
I'm sorry. I just remembered that.
Uh-huh.
Like I mean, it's been a while since I listened to your, season one recaps now, a long time, I guess. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God, he's right. I remember that.
Oh,
You
this
bringing
in
that
this
up.
last binge of yours, did that part come up in
Well, we saw it, but I don't think, I mean, certainly didn't make the connection. I'm
didn't
remembering like
register
your
at that point?
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what yeah, never mind. We'll just wait for the show to end because I was like, man, it'd be kind of fun to do some commentaries too. Um, all right. They have a back and forth, and Chosen exits on a scooter. Do you like this back and forth with them right now?
I do. Like I'm getting, like I just said in the earlier, we were like, okay, you get the story, what's going on, and they keep going after the students. They keep running into each other and other douchebags or whatever guys, whatever obstacle of the new location. Um, but I'm enjoying the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I also love how I think it's at this point as well, where part of their back and forth, I think she questions like, "Are you drunk?" Taguchi, and he's like, it's about a girl, isn't it? He's like she's kind of like trying to probe, and he doesn't want to talk about it. And he's like, why am I talking with you? You're the enemy or whatever. And she's like, not, it isn't. Then she say, no, I thought the flower is the enemy or something. Like she takes some pretty good digs at him at this
Mhm.
point. So the flower comes back up. Um, let's see, Tori. Nope, already said that. Amanda, Johnny, says it Kim. Okay, so Sam finds herself on the beach and sees a shirtless Axel doing kata. She sees his bruises, to which he claims it's from the bow staff event. And we learn a little bit more about his sensei. He just says that his sensei wants him to be the best. They don't take time off from training or anything like that. Um,
At least he
and-
does. And Zara is taking time off from training.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Um, So many questions about that dynamic. Like, how come Zara can, she's got her own different rules and stuff.
Well, if you
And
ever interview the writers, you could ask them.
right,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
it was just so much to ask. I forgot about
yeah.
it. Now, what about I mean, one of the other questions, Axel and Zara not talking. We haven't seen them share lines, right?
Axel doesn't talk to many people, so
That's true. That's true.
um,
Just stares at them.
yeah.
Uh, let's see. We learned. Yep. Oh, and then she asks, or he asks if he can join her, and she thinks, he's asking to join the dojo, but he says no on her walk back to the hotel. We cut back
Yeah,
to the
I don't know
tapas.
why
Yeah,
she would jump to the dojo. Like in
yeah,
in my opinion, it's pretty straightforward. Like he's getting ready to leave. Like she's just walking like I,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Like
I could. I mean, I don't. You can read it both ways. Yeah, you're right. He's putting on his shirt. He's finishing up kata, but it's his broken English. And so he's a little confused by it, wants clarification. What, you want to join our dojo? I think that's a valid question. You know,
I mean, well, okay.
just
If
misunderstanding, just a little misunderstanding. Yeah. Um, let's see. Back at the tapas bar, Hawk gets a FaceTime call from Moon. Yeah, who sees Dimitri dancing with another girl, and we see that Yasmin was also
no,
visiting
wait,
them.
wait. I think Hawk calls Moon. Because I think it's the
Does
reverse
he?
because yeah, I think Hawk is bored, kind of like because Dimitri got up and left and he's just kind of sitting there. Devin disappeared into ether. She went to hook up with those couple. I don't know what, but like I think he's just sitting there, so he called her. Uh,
I thought the letter on the phone said H, like H for a hawk. That I'll have to go back and check that. You're probably right, but I thought that it was Moon calling. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if that changes anything though, but that's funny that I looked at it the other way. That So he picks up the phone and gives her a call. I thought he was just playing on his phone and then she was calling him.
I,
So yeah,
I don't know.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Where was that? Dancing with the Girl. So yes, she calls him a little shitty man whore. Pretty funny.
Yasmin, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Real quick scene there. Tori and Robbie exchange looks, and Tori leaves. Juan goes over to add the fuel to the fire. Um, basically saying that, he'll keep her warm tonight. Uh, as he drinks his sorrows away, Zara swoops in. Um, let's see, we cut to Anthony, who goes to
A few things.
apologize. Yeah,
So
yes,
Hawk showing Dimitri was kind of an accident, right? I think most people agree with that.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. And then okay, like I was always confused about Zara. Like did she straight up know Robbie and Tori are a couple? Like because as far as I would see, like from her perspective, that's not necessarily clear. At the very most, like maybe she would have suspected Tori thought Robbie was cute or good looking. But there's no reason I think she would expect them to actually be a couple that they are.
Yeah, I feel that she got the gist of it from just observing. Like we see her, I use the term or phrase swoop in. I feel she's been there, just kind of like, what is going on? Because she's sitting behind Robbie, so she can see his vantage point looking over where Tori's sitting. So he's been eyeing them like all night. And then Tori leaves, and then Quan comes over to say some things, and you can, even if you don't hear what they're saying, you see Robbie's, body language. He's not receiving, this well from Quan. And so I think she's just reading the room quite literally, really, and has kind of figured it out.
I guess I never quite picked up on her reading the room, but maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, because if we did, then it takes away from the moment of seeing her like, oh shit, Zara was right there, and now she's
Yeah.
about to sit down with him.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, Johnny is in disgust. Nope, nope. Anthony goes to apologize and gets a
Hmm.
deserved pop in the face by Kenny. It's
Hmm.
that it's not. Is it passive aggressive? Because I feel he was aggressive in that in that apology to Kenny in the beginning there. He's basically like, I'm
Um,
here to apologize because my mom told me to apologize, but I don't want to apologize, you know?
um, well, I think it's what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's like true he didn't do it, but like he's being forced to do it. So I don't I'm not even sure what word to put it. It's not
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it passive aggressive.
right, right.
Um a little dismissive, maybe like it's just he's
Okay.
just dismissive of what he's saying. Because
Yeah.
I'm saying this because I'm being forced to say this, but I'm gonna just say it because I have to and whatever,
It's not
you know.
genuine, Yeah, he's
Exactly.
just,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just here to say words on your
Mhm.
doorstep. So please punch me in the face.
Yeah.
I do love that Amanda was on her phone and she just, witnesses karate basically.
Hmm.
So imagine them pulling up to the Paineses and she's like, all right, you go make this shit right. Go apologize and let's get Kenny. So she busts out the phone. All right, this might take a moment. Let me just check that good old TikTok right quick. And then all of a sudden her son's fighting, like I mean, I'm just trying to think like what made her pull out the phone, but it was a really, really
Well,
funny
she
scene.
might have been looking for a message from Rosa or something.
It could be.
Um,
Check notifications, sure.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, let's go with that. She was
Yeah,
trying to check up and checking when Johnny's flight is going to land and those sorts of things. So,
yeah, real shit, because
right,
this is what
exactly.
she's
Real
gonna.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Amanda reminds them people have real shit they're dealing with. Yeah, it's a really good moment there. Cut to Johnny in disguise, fooled me, and sneaks into first class wearing the ladies. Well, what hat is it? It's kind of like a really. It's not a sombrero, is it? It's it's like
Um,
it's just a really big garden hat,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
garden
what
hat.
do they call a wide brim hat?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Mhm.
It's got Barcelona on the side there, but yeah,
Yeah.
he, took her hat while she was napping, I suppose, and yeah, it's Johnny sneaks up into first class. It's just one of those really heart to hearts, that classic Cobra Kai moment between Johnny and Miguel.
Hmm.
This is the same type of talk in the diner in episode 203. You just watched it. 203? Is it 203? 202.
Oh,
202
no,
is the diner.
203 is the diner.
Oh,
203.
203 is the diner. Okay, that's an
Yeah.
Escalado. Okay. Um,
No, it's
the
ice and fire.
Oh,
Escalator
that's
is.
right. Escalado's 103. My bad.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Fire
Okay.
is. Yeah. Fire
I need
is.
to try to rewatch that season two. Sam. Nope. No. Miguel. No. Johnny Miguel. Okay.
Johnny
Yeah.
McGill. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're my son too. I really like this, and I really like how like Amy mentions it in her synopsis that Johnny tells Miguel that yeah, Johnny earned or Johnny Robbie earned his spot.
Hmm.
Um, and that it just kind of reminding Miguel that like yeah like I saw what you did and he just felt that he didn't need to kind of gas up Miguel because Robbie kind of needs it a little bit more because he's
Hmm.
got nothing after all this so I really like this moment.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, and he does, but I think Miguel needs it too. So I
Yes,
don't
yes.
know.
Yeah, Stu interrupts this moment, and I think a lot of us thought that Johnny was going to punch him, but maturation of the character, and instead Miguel hits him, and everybody applauses. Sam and Axel are having a stroll through the city, and we find out Axel's been around quite literally, and they have some nice back and forth, and then they encounter drunk Cobra Kai in the alley here. What would you think about the sequence?
Um, well, let's see.
They
We
stumble
kind of
in.
knew this was coming from the trailer. Um,
Yes.
I guess I mean it's not now. Do you think like it's meant as a misdirect? Ooh, are they flirting? Are they thinking? Or it's just giving them time together, at least for Axel to think, wow, this Sam girl is so great.
I think the latter. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I didn't think it was a misdirect. I think it's just, she
Hmm.
excused herself
Hmm.
after having a moment with Robbie because Tori arrived and yeah, he just happens to be out there doing kata. So it's not
Hmm.
like she was really looking for him. He was just there. She just needed some fresh air. And so it's somebody that she felt sympathetic to because she saw him being hit by his sensei. And that goodness in her heart, she's just like, oh, I feel terrible. And he's got no friends, and I never
Hmm.
see him talk to anybody. So she's just, just that type of person. But I do like the stuff with drunk Cobra Kai here. We see
Oh, you know what? I
Quan,
have a
yeah.
note because Sam's like, oh, I've really only ever been to Disney World. And I'm like, she's like, I can't believe she never traveled anywhere because, they have money and they never go anywhere, apparently.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That
I
is
don't know. It's just something I noticed. Yeah.
it's a funny line too, since many of us know that Mary Mother loves Disneyland. So
Oh, that's true. I didn't even make that connection, but when you said, yeah, you're right.
yeah. Let's see. But yeah,
The
this
Cobras are coming. Yeah,
Cobra.
the
Yep.
drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. It definitely sets up like the little, feud here between Axel and Quan for sure.
Right, right. Yeah, I think this is the beginning of that. And this is the thing when the actual fight here, um, I think they're going more after Axel than Sam, right? Because they view Axel and the Iron Dragons as the threat, kind
You
of
know,
going back.
it's a much bigger threat for sure.
Right, yeah. So Sam just happens to be there.
Sam happens to be there, and I feel a part of Quan, like he wants to instigate it, but Sam's a girl.
Hmm.
Like at one point he gets up in her face and he's like smacking his cheek. He's like, "Come on, hit me!" Like he
Hmm.
wants to do something, but he's not going to hit a girl first. More on that in
I
the
know
next
you're
episode.
supposed to strike first if you're in Cobra
Yeah,
Kai. It
you're
doesn't
supposed
say
to.
strike first men only.
Right, right. Yeah. Asterisks, see note
Yeah,
below.
yeah, right.
But yeah, so we see Yoon strike first because he sees Axel about to ball up his fist. But
Right,
I
yeah.
do I do like the playfulness of Kwan where he gets down to Sam's level, because she's shorter in height, and he's like, "Oh, what's the magic word?" And she's like, "Move aside." And I just love the delivery because like she's not gonna let him punk her, and
Mm.
and I just love Kwan's, kind of like he's flabbergasted. He's like, the audacity. He's like, wrong. Yeah. Really funny sequence here
Mhm.
for Brandon. Um, Brandon's note from this scene, he says that originally in the script that it was going to kind of get broken up by like the police coming and then they were just going to scatter, but speaking with Jen Salata, the director, they created like an extra beat for Axel and Quan to kind of like get in each other's face. And I think that's when we got Yoon telling him like, Quan, we got to get going. And so
Mm.
again, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, like I guess there are some guidelines and whatever, they can't get into fights, but then how does Dublin Thunder get into fights, right? Like if Yoon is trying to protect them, like, oh, we can't get into trouble like this. What's stopping? Why isn't Dublin Thunder, stopping from getting into fights?
Because they're just getting in with fights with anyone, random locals and everything, not necessarily
Ah,
other
okay.
competitors.
There you go. That's it right there. Like you can get into
Yeah,
fights with locals, so
yeah.
local nationals, just not other competitors.
Not the other competitors. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So Axel and Sam run, and then they compliment each other on each other's moves. And Axel misreads the moment and tries to kiss Sam. She does apologize and tells him that she's got a boyfriend, and he's pretty embarrassed by this, and says that it's past curfew. Anyway, and
Hmm.
then he takes off.
Made a move.
Sorry, I had a cough.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have any other note for that. My next note goes to the elevator ride. Did you have anything to add?
um, let's see. Where'd it go? Oh, I just wrote Axel falls too easily.
Oh, I mean,
Because I was like, he must have girls attracted to him and stuff.
maybe none,
I don't know.
were care to speak to him. Like I feel,
Hmm.
I feel if Sam never saw him get hit by Wolf, that doesn't happen. She sees him and they don't have
Mhm.
that encounter on the beach. I think
Ah,
it's only kind of like I feel bad. Maybe he needs somebody to talk to, or hey, you don't have to
mm.
put up with that. She's just being a goody goody.
She went an extra mile, so to
Yeah,
speak,
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
just saying hi, then giving up. Yeah.
right. We go to an elevator ride with the Binary Brothers, Devin behind them. We find out that Yaz dumped Dimitri. And I do like what Hawk has to say here. He's pretty honest about it. He goes, if you don't like facing consequences, maybe don't do shitty things.
Right.
And he easily could have said no, but instead he thought with, I guess the other brain or the other head, and to go dancing with this other young lady.
Yeah. And it just so happens Devin is reemerged to stand right behind him while he's saying that.
Yes, yes. All of this talk about holding each other accountability or whatever, it's feeling, kind of turned up the guilty level, in
Mhm.
Devin's conscious a little bit here. And so, what does do you remember what Hawk says to her at the very end here? He's like,
Oh, some people can't take
yeah,
accountability.
and she's
Mhm.
like, accountability, right? And
Right.
so, more on that there. We go to the Paints' house again, and Amanda has a talk with Kenny on the porch. And there's just something about like else like having a talk outside. It's a little bit more intimate. There's no distractions. If you were sitting inside in like in the kitchen or something like that. So I thought it was really interesting to have them speak outside. Much more quiet. But Amanda has some really nice words for Kenny. She says that he basically like rose in the ranks like rather quickly, out of like everybody she's
Right.
known.
Hmm.
So,
Although
that
Daniel was a black belt after 6 weeks and won the All Valley.
yeah, a couple weeks I think
Yeah.
according to Kreese,
Yeah. Mhm.
or no, maybe it was it 6 weeks? Is that what Kreese says in episode 3? 603?
Well, I mean, November 1st to December 19th. So
Okay,
if
yeah,
you just
fair.
want to, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Anthony takes accountability, and he makes things right with Kenny,
Mhm.
and he purchased himself some laxatives and says that he's going to drink all of it to, be right here. And we kind of mentioned earlier, this is when Devin calls and, comes clean. Um,
Right.
but I
And then
guess,
and then yeah, so Kenny gets interrupted by Devin, who's like now telling him that she was the one who did it. But in the meantime, um, yeah, like Anthony's getting all his laxatives now in him.
yeah, I think this is a pretty funny sequence. I thought it was interesting that, Anthony had a come to Jesus moment or something. He's just like, well, he's on the phone call. I said I'm gonna drink this. I'm gonna commit. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
simple.
like that to me the funny thing is like Kenny sees him drinking it after he knows the truth, but he's just like, okay, I'll let him continue. Like
Yeah, it,
it's kind of
it,
like the last little bit. Okay.
a little bit, but I think even at that point he feels kind of like well, he already drank it all, but decides to say like you should probably go back to the house too because you're gonna want to like shit shit at your own place.
Right.
You know,
He gives him some pointers, yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, and they're all good there. Now we cut back to Chosen, who arrives at the bar, and he asks the bartender if he's basically seen Miyagi-Do. Um, and to which he has, wait, he had, but they've already left.
Mhm.
Sensei Kim also arrives there. So surprisingly, not too long after Chosen arrives on the scooter, no less, right? Like she took a taxi. So maybe the taxi took a little bit longer to get to her, and then
Yeah.
driving there,
Mhm.
and Chosen's already rolling up on this
The
750 watt
scooter's the way to
electric
travel, I
scooter.
guess. It's yeah.
Well, if we learned anything from episode 202, I believe Miguel Diaz and Hawk also arrives in an electric scooter, no?
Um,
Right
Actually, it's
outside,
201,
is it
201.
201? Oh,
But
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
see, so um let's see. So I got the dialogue incorrect. Sensei Kim, she says, I am not enemy. Uh, this is the part where she talks about like the flower being the enemy,
The flower,
Okay, so
yeah,
yeah, the
right.
trash talk continues here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, and so there's definitely some escalation. He talks about, she won't last a moment fighting against him, and she says something. What does she say? Or is that what she says? No, I think he challenges her, and she said that she could take him on basically. So
Mhm.
so they kind of go at it, and then
Mhm.
he was able to grab like the tip of her ponytail because she
Yeah.
has like the little hairpin in it,
Mhm.
and then they have a warm embrace. Yeah, yeah. So I watched it again
Is it
earlier.
warm or wet? A wet embrace.
Well, it's got to be warm first before it gets wet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, everybody at the bar there seems to be amused. I think even one young lady, her mouth drops, to kind of watch them hit the floor there. I still cannot believe my eyes. Like as often as I've seen that sequence, which wow, I still shake my head and smile.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It is fun. It is a lot of fun. I bet you they had fun. Um,
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so here's the sequence for you. Robbie walks out of Zara's room. He says he has a big headache and doesn't remember anything, and Zara assures him, well, she does.
Mhm.
And for what it's worth, in the interview, when asked, Emily Abbott, she does say that in her mind that, nothing happened until basically that moment. Like that was the first kiss, after
Mhm.
them waking up. So, your thoughts on that?
Well, it's something I had been thinking of more. I guess when I first saw it, I thought, oh, they hooked up or something.
Yeah.
But like upon like thinking about it more, it almost seems like he did just come and pass out in her room.
Yeah.
And and then he was finally coming to and she's just like, okay, I gotta get him out of here, but like, but keep it going, so yeah, that's kind of like I've been coming to that sort of opinion, I guess, of all this from yeah, more recently.
Yeah, I feel if they really wanted us to think that something really did happen, I feel Robbie would have been putting on more articles of clothing. Like he looked like he just went to bed in said clothes, without having removed anything and just woke up in the same
Yeah,
clothes.
yeah. He doesn't look like any of that happened. Like he really does look like he's waking up from having passed out. I don't really know the timeline because like I don't because of course Tori being at the elevator is just like the most insane timing, but whatever.
Right,
Uh
right. N Nobody was getting off. Well,
right, yeah.
somebody got off, but Tori, Tori happened to see it at the least opportune moment here for Robbie.
Mhm.
Um, but yep, she sees Zara kiss him, and then I guess the elevator takes her to whichever floor, 11th floor, I think. I might have mentioned that she's on. Um, let's see here. We cut to the West Valley General Hospital. They were escorted, or Johnny and Miguel were escorted by the police, probably following after the incident on the plane there. They get to the hospital to find Carmen's bed bloodied, and we have a bit of a false alarm here. And we find out from, I don't know if it's a doctor or a nurse, but she mentions that They had to do a servage. Does that sound right? Um,
I
uh,
don't know what it is, so sure.
yeah. I should have wrote the term down, but I have the definition. It's the use of a ring or loop bind together the ends of the obliquely fractured bone or encircle the opening of a malfunctioning cervix. So supposed to explain all the blood, so there was something that they had to fix. It's fractured bone related, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's insisted that she is on bed rest for a few weeks. Carmen tells Johnny that the baby is lucky to have him, and also to
Hmm.
Miguel, the brother who wins the Zacatecai. So do you think that's foreshadowing?
Um, I don't think we can call that foreshadowing because, it's what a mom would say. So,
Here, okay. And we get the Rocky line here. She tells him to win and
yeah.
win. Yep.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on the use of the Conti score here for this moment?
Um, I guess I didn't have any notes on the music,
Okay.
to be
Yeah.
honest with you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither. I do I like it. I like it anytime
Hmm.
that they kind of implement, the OG score to kind of
Hmm.
like highlight something in the sequence there. I don't have the name of the score. I don't know the names that well for the scores. I just know like the ones that I really like, basically. But
Hmm.
uh, the next morning or something, or shortly after in Barcelona, we cut to Kim's in, who are having coffee. And Sensei Kim, she says to keep it between them. And we find out
Did
from
you
Cho.
just give them a couple's name?
I did not. The first time I
Kim.
saw Kim's in was
Oh,
from
so you didn't do it. Yeah.
correct. I don't know who the credit goes to, but the first time I saw it was from at fan art Lindy on social media
Oh,
on
okay.
Instagram. Yeah, she's the one that I found um during our coverage of Obliterated.
Yeah,
And
right.
she did a lot of those actors, and she just sent me like a bunch of her prints from Obliterated, as well
Mm.
as Cobra Kai. So shout out to Lindy. But yeah, she was the first one to say Kim's in, and I was like, you know what, I like it. What do you think? Have you
There you
heard
go.
anything else?
I no, I haven't. Like, I guess I never even thought of it. I was never a big fan of couple names to begin with,
Yeah,
but I guess I'm willing to go along with it because everyone else and like okay, I'm liking Kim's in. I
yeah. Kim's in. It sounds cool. Uh,
yeah,
Cho Kim. Yeah, I guess might be like the other one if you don't want to say
show him.
Cho him. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be interested to hear if there's any other versions out there. Let us know. Um, but yeah, we find out from Chosen that it was a two-time thing if they count the morning, and
Whoa.
so must have been an interesting night. Yeah, especially like
And
since
morning.
his hair is down, and she's sand all over the
She's
place.
got the sand all over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't you hate it
so
when you try to go to get the coffee and you're just trying to get the sand out of your hair?
yeah, your sleeves are, leaking
Yeah.
sand. Now, how do you think? What do you think happened after that second time in the morning there? Did they like, so coffee? Coffee. Yeah, let's go to coffee. They're sitting by.
So
Yeah,
they got up, they put all their clothes on, um, and are just walking up from the beach and kind of walking vaguely back, see the coffee shop, and and maybe at some point they're like, oh, I'm hungry, or oh, I could use something, and they see the coffee shop and it's like Chosen's like coffee, and she's like, I do. Or I don't know,
yes.
whatever,
Yeah. Don't
whatever
mind if
they
I
would
do.
say, but yeah,
Sure.
but like the idea being like they got up and are kind of like walking back and maybe thinking that, and then see it, and it's like, yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. The sign that they're sitting next to translate to basically like corner cafe. So I did notice that. And what I also noticed, a long-haired goon rocking a Cobra Kai tattoo, walking by with coffee. So
Yeah,
this must be the joint, right? This is the
this
spot.
is the place. Yeah.
Yeah, all the legacy characters go here for coffee. Apparently.
Legacy
So
character coffee
yeah,
shop.
yeah. Daniel goes to meet up with Chosen at the hotel where the spa
Hmm.
is. Yeah, it's in the same place, but at the spa in the hotel, right? Is that what we're assuming?
Well, I think he's at the front desk.
I don't think it looks like the same front desk from earlier.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why I thought this was like the spa, like at the hotel. So I don't think this was
so
the
like the
main front
spa
desk.
desk. Hmm.
Yeah, I think they might have like a front desk too. It was a little confusing. I'm
Oh,
still,
yeah, yeah. But then like
because
Kreese wanders in, right? So,
yeah, because Kreese follows Daniel, so Kreese had to get there after everybody else,
hmm,
and they're like, well, he went this way, and it's basically yeah towards the
I guess that
salon.
makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know because Chosen had to call Daniel at some point. So was was Dennis there for a minute? Then Dennis must have been there for a few minutes. Then
Yeah.
he's like, okay, he walked down this hallway. Let's call Daniel. Daniel shows up. All right, we're at the spa. We found the dude. That's
Hmm.
must have what happened. So Daniel, yep, he's there. To his surprise, he finds Sensei Kim. And basically he's like, what's this? And Chosen mentions that it was a mistake, bumping into her there. Now, you think that was just a slip up, right? That he mentions that, oh, it was a mistake because she
Yeah.
takes great offense. Yeah.
Well, she does. He should be more careful.
Yeah, but also like she's the one who said that nobody can know about this. And so like, yeah, he's just playing it off. So I don't know. That's where my mind was. I was just like, well, you did say to keep it between you guys. So he's coming up with something like, oh yeah, it was his mistake that we bumped into each other here.
Hmm.
That's all he meant. But
Well,
Chosen apologist.
he didn't have to say, like, he still didn't have to call it a mistake. We bumped into each other by mistake. He could have just
Uh,
said, we bumped into each other, but it worked out or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And this is just setting up something in episode 10 anyway, so
Right.
yeah, had to happen. Kreese also shows up because Sensei Kim had questions of her own. I really
Hmm.
like this. They're kind of keeping like each other in the dark, but just come because we need some shit ironed out here. What's going on?
Hmm.
Um, Let's see. They continue to walk down the hallway and find Dennis down the halls, and to their surprise, along with Sensei Wolf. But no, it's Terry Silver that's in the bathtub.
Ah.
Yeah, and we ended with Terry asking, "What would be life? What would life be without a few surprises?" And end
Mhm.
snake.
I like that
So
ending.
yeah, I like it too, and I
Yeah.
misremembered it just because of
Hmm.
how the next episode opens up. So I was like, "Oh, I guess it's just the one line from Terry Silver." I thought that we were going to get him standing up in this sequence, so I just
No,
kind of
it's yeah,
misremembered.
that's the next one because it's he's leaving at that point. So,
Right, right. So that's it for this episode. As usual, I solicited some feedback from the group. So we have two more episodes. Well, two more of part two, but
yeah. Hmm.
7 episodes total. If you guys want to, participate and leave question, comments, and feedback, you could do so in our group page, the Companion Network group. The first one comes from Randy C. He says, a few thoughts on what may be my favorite episode of this portion of the season. I wasn't a big fan of the Chosen slash Kim Dae-eun pairing and initially regarded it as a cheesy trope. But as much as I don't feel this pairing is their endgame, I can't deny that there was some comedy gold that came from it. First, there was the visual of one of the extras in the background and her reaction to seeing Chosen and Kim make out at the bar. Then there
You
was the
mentioned her
price.
too. Yeah.
I did. It's just so like she just sticks out. And I think she's the audience at that moment.
Yeah.
Mouth agape.
Hmm.
Um, there was a priceless scene of Kim shaking sand out of her clothes and hair outside the
Hmm.
cafe. I
Hmm.
mentioned that too. I also love the reconciliation between Kenny and Anthony. Simply the line, "You're going to want home court advantage for this deuce" was priceless. Yeah, I forgot the line, but that's what I meant about him needing to go home.
Yeah.
The
Right.
yeah.
It's a good line,
Um,
actually.
it is. Given that so many of the other dojos have had their share of off-mat craziness and rivalries, I can't help but wonder if that hot Spanish girl was genuinely interested in Eli and Dimitri, or was she primarily aiming to mess with them to throw them off their game? I don't know if they knew they would be facing each other in the next episode, but Miyagi-Do definitely was not fighting at their maximum potential during that match. Finally, the writers really know how to use Johnny Miguel to put us on an emotional roller coaster. Thank you, Randy, for that. I agree. But yes,
Yeah. I
Maria,
think Maria was looking for guys. Like I don't think she
yeah,
was trying to sabotage or get in the minds, She's not Cobra Kai, so
well, uh,
well,
Jules, she differs. She says that's actually what Maria is doing, and she says that that was kind of like the idea that Maria tries to get the attention of these other guys, and then that's when Diego would come in and kind of rack up the points, because she has thrown these guys off.
mm,
Yeah. So but, the dual interview with Jules and Justin Ortiz. So the next one comes from Dorian. He says, I adore Miguel and Johnny's relationship in this episode. This was the most mature and poignant interaction I've ever seen. Miguel giving Johnny a reality check about Carmen's unknown condition, and Johnny giving Miguel validation on him being a son to him. So glad Miguel was the one to knock out the jackass. He still has a little Cobra Kai in him, i.e., strike first. Plus, Chosen and
mhm.
Deun sitting on the beach, Kising. There you go. So
Yeah.
people like that. Any thoughts on what he says about Miguel and Johnny on the plane? I mean, I know we already went through it, but
I mean, it's well stated because it is, you know, Johnny is kind of like, not rectifying, but yeah, like validating, and we're kind of like reaffirming some of those things maybe we went through last season, right?
yeah,
In when Miguel was in Mexico and such, we kind of had these moments where we see Johnny is now stepping forward and is going to be Miguel's father, and so it's just kind of a little bit of a reaffirmation of that he's still
absolutely.
there through the ups and downs.
Yeah, and the idea of the jackass, aka Stu,
Mhm.
the writers Emily and Ashley, they talk about how, this character is like another common enemy for these two, and for them to come together on the plane too. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one comes from Ron. He says Chosen and Kim Dae-un hooking up was totally unexpected, but it seems to be a fan favorite already. I have a feeling we haven't heard the last from Kumiko though. This is just a hunch, but I think that the shirtless guy at Kumiko's house was not what Chosen thought. I think he jumped to conclusions, which is totally understandable in that situation, but we'll find out what was really going on soon enough, and that would put Chosen in a love triangle. I also predict that Yasmin, I mean Dimitri, isn't permanent either. She was right to be mad at him, but I think she'll forgive him and want to get back together when he returns stateside. Finally, how great was it to see Johnny be so emotionally vulnerable on the plane, talking about how worried he is about Carmen, and to hear him say the words, "You're my son too," to Miguel. I think that more than made up for the "I love you too, Robbie" moment in season four. Oh, yeah, that's
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, you're right. I do like
Hmm.
that, and
Hmm.
talk about a scene that will always stick with you too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, he talks about how he's thank you, Ron. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I do love how, yeah, Johnny talks about how he loves Carmen, and then there's like Miguel. He kind of like gives this like little laugh and this little
Hmm.
look to Johnny, kind of like, wow, I'm hearing you say this. Like I don't know if Miguel's ever heard him say that about his mom. He assumes it, right? But I don't know if he's
Right.
actually heard Johnny
Heard
verbalize it.
him. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So really, really, one of my favorite moments. I don't know, like,
Hmm.
which is your favorite Johnny Miguel heart to heart moment?
Oh boy. Well, like I'm actually thinking now the diner back in 203. I did just watch it recently.
Yeah, that was
But
we were all saying like, why isn't Billy being nominated
now
for an
for the
Emmy
in
for
that
that?
one
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Um,
That's probably the one, huh? Yeah, that's kind of hard to
well,
beat
I mean, yeah,
because
I mean, I'm
that's a
thinking
real heart
back.
to heart,
Yeah,
also, you know.
and I'm thinking back to like season five. You know, the Mexico stuff, but some of it like they're doing stuff. Uh, yeah. Um, the Johnny, yeah. But between Johnny and Miguel, um, well, and then there's also some of this stuff in season three when Miguel's recovering. So,
Right. Yeah,
uh,
in the hospital. Yeah.
yeah, right. The hospital. I actually like this speech in 304, you know.
Is that before he gets kicked out by Miguel?
No, this is when he after it doesn't go well with Robbie at the soup the place.
Ah,
He goes
yes.
back to the hospital and he pushes the thing away and tells him to get his phone, you know, and he's like, you got to crawl across the floor, use your damn teeth if you have to, and you know, you can always be a
Oh,
champ.
yeah.
And there's some good moments, and then again in like while some of the 305, 306, yeah,
It's
um,
so funny. You mentioned like the soup sequence, right? The first line that popped into my head. Hey, Blondie.
yeah,
Homeless Lynn. Oh man.
yeah.
I think it's so funny to kind of think of certain scenes with like a quote, and that's the one that like stuck out to me. Like, "Hey, Blondie."
Yeah.
Good moment. Yeah, good moment. And that's I think that was could have been a pivotal scene for the Johnny and Robbie relationship too.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
to kind of yeah start heading in a different direction there. Okay, well that's it from the group. Thank you guys for leaving that feedback. This was a lot of fun to talk about. One of my favorite episodes. Watch party. Any videos you're working on?
Yeah, I
We
want to get some more season six theories, some predictions, you know, for the finale coming, and you know, and then whenever the trailer comes, and I'll try to lock in full. I, I feel busier now ever since the engagement, and this coming week's going to be crazier because
yeah.
some people are coming into town for dress shopping and
Mm.
whatever stuff girls do. Um,
Yeah, something blue, right? Like borrow
yeah,
something blue.
yeah. So, um, you know, there's, you know, it's like there's stuff now. There's stuff on the schedule that, you know, I got to be doing and such. So gets me away, but I gotta get these focused and I got a lot of videos I want to make, and we're running out of time.
Yeah, we sure are. We got yeah, just a little over 2 weeks left to do the remaining two, but obviously we're gonna have a trailer at some point, and we're gonna talk about that. And I haven't heard anything yet from Netflix in terms of screeners for part three, but I did put in a request, so we'll see. Cross my fingers. I know with part two, I got those pretty late actually, and that's why
Yeah,
we
late in the game. Yeah.
yeah, and then we like try to hurry up and wrap up the final episodes then. So
I
might have
mean,
to do
give
the
it,
same thing.
they probably, um, would give the screeners before they do interviews, and it seems like they haven't done the interviews yet. So,
That's a good point. Yeah, that might be coming up.
because they gotta let the media people see it, right? And then that way they can give the interviews and talk about it. So, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. But yeah, expect an interview coming pretty soon. That's already been recorded. So that's a little tease there.
Mhm.
One that you guys will be excited about. Hopefully, it is a legacy character. Somebody you guys haven't
Mhm.
heard from for a couple seasons, maybe. So I'll
Would
leave it
you
at that.
interview it at the coffee shop at Legacy
Yeah,
Character?
yeah. Right. The legacy
Yeah,
characters on coffee shop. Yeah, perhaps virtually. Definitely
yeah.
not in person. Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. And until the next episode, what happens in Barcelona stays in Barcelona.